Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a crowdfunding countdown, a new one for the channel. Normally I go in depth on some games that I'm either wanting to back or wishing to back. This month don't really have that much time for that, so I'm just going to do, and also I don't have that much to say about each game, so I'm just going to do a quick roundup of all the games that are currently on BoardGameGeek in the crowdfunding countdown section that I'm personally interested in, and I'll tell you why and maybe help you with some decision. Always remember to do your own research and see if the games are really for you and if they really make sense in your collections, especially if you're someone like me who tends to buy way more games than they actually need. So let's get started. Right away, let's just do a quick review roundup of the games I'm going to talk about. You can skip ahead for each chapter. It will be named with the game, so you can just skip ahead to either game you want. Now I was just going to do a quick roundup. We're going to talk about Andromeda's Edge Genesis for sure. It's the first one because it's being promoted right now. We'll do a short pass on Ark Nova. I've already done a dedicated video for it, but I'll just do a TLDR. Then we're going to touch on Blood Rage Valhalla. We're also going to touch on Art Society, and this will be the order, except for Genesis that is out of order. This will be the order. It's a lot of cool games here actually this month, but I'm going only to touch on a bit of them, a bunch of them. The Gilded Realms, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Galactic Cruise, Terrorscape 2, and that's it. There's a couple other games I would personally be interested on, but I've just haven't had the time or the need, and I've already been wanting to back more games than I actually can, so some of them I'll just let go. And that's a good thing to foster with yourself. Just let go of some games, just don't look at it for some time if you're... And I'm guessing people that watch this type of videos, they are either in it just for the information alone, just to be hyped about new games coming in the next years, or they're like me and many board gamers, they're just buying too many games and crowdfunding too many games. So let's go on to it. And the first one is Ark Nova, so a quick TLDR. Ark Nova, I'm just going to tell you how it is. Ark Nova is probably one of the best games ever, and I'm not talking about my personal opinion, I'm just talking about the consensus in the community. This is a game that is currently on top 3, unless it's changed recently, it's on top 3, so it's surpassed a lot of games like Terraforming Mars and a lot of staples of the hobby. And it's one of the most recent, even though it's been a couple of years, but it's just staying there. A lot of the other games like Terraforming Mars have already come down a bit, and this one is still at third. And it's also a game that is always on the hotness and always on the most played list on BGG, so that's saying something. If you ever want to buy a mid-wave Euro game, a cool mid-wave Euro game that probably runs a bit too long, and you want to have that game with 3D pieces and a Deluxe version, and if you don't know any games, this is probably the one to go with. It's the one that more people have enjoyed compared to all the others. It's been staying high on the ranks since forever. It's just no excuse. If you don't know anything and you want an Euro game, that's the one. So, moving forward, Blood Rage Valhalla. I'm not really going to back Blood Rage Valhalla, but I really want to back one of the games that they are getting. They're basically doing a campaign for the new Blood Rage Valhalla, but they are also going to offer Blood Rage, Ankh, Gods of Egypt, and Rising Sun. So they're going to offer the trilogy of Eric Lang's war games. And for a long time, I've wanted Blood Rage and never really could get it. And I've always wanted to at least try one of the games in the trilogy. So just to tell you, I don't know much about this trilogy. I just know they are war games, that each one of them has different mechanisms, that they tend to be quite heavy, and Blood Rage tends to be the simpler of them. And the reason what I'm going to back is Ankh, because I want to have one of them, and I've never tried. And the reason I'm personally backing Ankh is because I do want the Deluxe components, and what separates these games is that Blood Rage is probably the easiest to get into. Ankh is the one that is best at 2 players, and I'm going to be honest, I'm probably only going to play these games mostly at 2 players, so Ankh for me is the correct choice. I love the art, I love the cover, and I'm going to play it at 2 players, so that's the one I'm going for. If I was going to play it above 3 and above, I'd probably get Blood Rage, because that's the safest choice. It's the game in the trilogy that has been loved the most, that has stayed on people's top 100 rankings for the most time. And as for Rising Sun, I don't know much about it, probably a better game with more players compared to Ankh. And I do like the team, I just feel more attracted, and the 2-player thing is what defines it. For me, for you, might be different. If you have an interest in learning more about these games, please do. I'm by no means I don't know anything about them. I just know that they're games that people love and keep coming back to. And it's a good chance to get them. I'm sure they'll be back in print either way, but if you want to get them without waiting, this might be it. But I'm not going to tell you that this is the best price or the best time to get it. The company that is taking care of them now, Tycoon Games, even though people give the creator or the CEO a lot of flack, there's no absolute proof that he's that bad of a person. He's had one or another problem, he's been honest about them, and most people that are in business have been like that, and people that do tend to be in the public eye and respond to bad criticism when they think it's not good to them, they tend to be seen with bad eyes. But the truth is, we don't have a ton of proof of him doing things wrong. Just one or two cases from many years ago that he might have learned from. And what I mean to say is that this company doesn't seem that different from others. The games that they've been recently acquiring and doing new editions of, like Everdell, those games have been in reviews. For most reviews, have been seen as better versions than the original. So they have a track record or doing a good job with buying IPs and doing better games with them. So I think you can rest assured with them. And that's it. On to the next one. The next one is Andromeda's Edge Genesis. So, what can I tell you? This is a hard game to tell you about. It's a combination of worker placement, resource management, with a bit of... the worker placement is mixed with the fact that there's area control and there's battles. The battles are not super strategic. Strategy does go into it, but they're mostly about dice shuffling. And just because you have the best strategy or the best positions doesn't mean you're going to win. So what can I tell? This is a game that if you want to mix Euro with a bit of craziness and battles, and you don't mind that battles are a risky thing and not the main focus of the game, and they are risky, and they can be a lot of fun if you look into it that way, then this might be a game worth looking at. It got incredible table presence, especially if you get one of these super deluxe editions like the one that they're available now. Personally, I have... what is that one called? I have Dwellings of Eldervale, which is basically the same game but with a fantasy theme. And there's also some other difference, but I really like that game. I haven't played it nearly enough, but I really like the game. And this one just seems amazing too. I don't have any space games at all, and it might seem stupid for some people that you have both of these games, but for other people that really enjoy this system, it could make sense to have both. So that's the reason I'm going to back it. If you want just some short information that I know comparing the two, I know that Dwellings of Eldervale works better, I think, as scaling up, while Andromeda's Edge might not work as well if you have more players, as the game is a bit bigger, more complex. And with this expansion that I really don't know much about, it's probably even worse. I know that Andromeda's Edge is a bit less lucky on the battles, not by a long shot, just a small difference. People tend to overplay how important it is. It's also a bit more convoluted in the things that you can do, in tracks that you can go up. So there's just a bit more going on Andromeda's Edge. They're still very similar in wave and length. For such an heavy game, I would say Dwellings of Eldervale, it's actually not that hard of a teach or of a learning game for its table presence and for its wave. That's basically it. Nothing much that I can tell you. Some people really love this game. Another thing I can tell you is that Andromeda's Edge feels a bit more swingy, where sometimes you can have an incredible turn just because of how things come out and what you can do, and others don't. Where Dwellings of Eldervale, having less going on, doesn't tend to be that much. That's something I've heard a lot. It's a game for people that like Euro games, that like strategy, resources, but don't mind a little bit of craziness. And of course, it just looks incredible on the table if you get one of these versions. So, going forward. Art Society. Art Society is a game I'm not backing. I would want to. If I had the money, I would. It's a game I've been hearing a lot about for a long time. It seems like an incredible game. It's a game that for a long time for me seemed to occupy the same space as Seven Wonders Duel, as one of the best two-player games you could get. I'm not saying they're similar games, but they occupy a similar need for players for a really good two-player game. Seven Wonders Duel has always been the most famous one, but this one has always been in the shadow as a really good game, so I've always kept my eye on it. Never really got it because I didn't like the theming as much. But they're coming now with this deluxe edition that includes an expansion, and this deluxe edition just looks incredible as a really nice box that if somehow you like the game, you'll want to have this. So I just thought that it was worth mentioning. It's something I would like to try, but I have way too many two-player games. I don't need to get another one for a teaming that I don't like that much. Even if it is an incredible game, you don't need 10 or 20 incredible games. You just need a few. So for now, we're just going to let it be. Now, going to the Gilded Realms. So the Gilded Realms is a game that caught me by surprise. I was not expecting to want to back another game this month, and I'm probably going to. The whole thing with the Gilded Realms, it looks like an Euro game that also has, I don't know, even though it kind of reminds me of Age of Empires, and maybe I'm speaking wrong, but it kind of reminds me of Age of Empires, and the way that you have a tableau of cards that represents your reign, and it's just some land, and then you can upgrade it and have cities sprawling, and you have more stuff, and that's related to the Euro. And you're not only playing against other players, but there's also like a faction of bad people that works against everyone that can have battles. So the whole concept of the game seems cool. What I've noticed in reviews is that people tend to say that the game has some luckiness on what can come up to you, that normally swings will win and will lose, and doesn't seem that fair as a multiplayer game, and also tends to run a bit long. Even though it is a heavy game and with good decision space, reviewers tend to say that it is a bit too long for how swingy it is and how heavy it is. But the thing is, that's talking about multiplayer, because when you go and you see solo reviews, people absolutely love this game. And I can easily see how some randomness in a solo game is really cool, while some randomness in a really heavy Euro game is not really cool. So the reason I'm getting this game is to play it solo, and I think you should only get it to play it solo. If you're getting it to play multiplayer, take a good look, see if there's not other games that you'd prefer. But for solo, it seems cool. Now, this version, apart from the Deluxe stuff that you're used to with these campaigns, which is also always cool if you're into that, it also has an expansion that I have no idea of, can't tell you in any way if it's going to be good or bad, but it seems to have the right thought behind it, because it's an expansion that turns a game from a co-op. So to me, it seems like they understand that one of the strengths is the solo mode. This expansion seems like a way to turn the solo mode to more players. So instead of playing each other against each other in a game that is a bit lucky for how heavy it is, now you can co-op against the enemy, with each one of you having your own faction. So it seems like an expansion on a solo mode to accommodate more players, but still have that type of gameplay that people have been enjoying more than the multiplayer head-to-head or competitive. So that's what I wanted to say about this game. I was actually pissed because I was not expecting to spend more money this month, and it happened. Now, something I've always kept my eye on, I always wanted this game, Galactic Cruise, seems really cool. It kind of reminds me of, I'm blanking myself with the names, but one of the best space movies of all time, 99 Space Odyssey, where it's not really the focus of the movie, but in the beginning of the movie you kind of see this human society where space travel is normal and space shuttles accommodate people, and it's really luxury. There's luxury, and it's almost like it's a normal commodity of humanity to just go into space, and the spacecrafts are like hotels, and that's like a cool way. And Galactic Cruise seems to be a game about that. You're just a company. It's a worker placement game. It's really heavy. It's a worker placement game where you're managing your company that sends people into space for visits, for leisure, for vacations. And it seems to be a game that has caught the eye of a lot of reviewers and people. People have been loving this game. It's getting high reviews. It's a game I'm not getting into because I don't need another heavy Euro game. Maybe one day I would really like to have this, but I'll probably have to sell something first. I'm just not in the space right now to spend more money on games, but it's a game I've always wanted, and they are coming with a new campaign. And the new campaign might be a good place to start. I'm not sure it comes with a lot of deluxe stuff. The thing you can get here is the expansion, and the expansion doesn't seem like needed at all, but it does give you achievements. So what I understood from just a short read is that if you like to play this game solo, this expansion might be cool and add a bit more heft with challenges and achievements and stuff like that. It might be cool for that. To play it multiplayer, you probably don't need this. You can just go with a normal box and be done with it. Moving forward, and we're reaching the end. So, Terrorscape 2. What can I tell you? Not much. I've never played this. I've actually not played almost at all any hidden movement games. But from what I gather from the reviews from the first Terrorscape is that this is a really fun and cool hidden movement game, especially a beginner's one, like maybe one of the first games you can have. It also has a lot of table presence and it's really thematic if you're into this kind of horror theme. So that also seemed cool to me. So if I'm going to get into a need and roll game, this might be the one to start for me. If you don't like this theme, maybe this is not the one. You have the Sniper Project or something Sniper, that's probably a better one. But for me, this one seems like it. And this one specifically, the 2, is themed around a space station in the Arctic. So it really reminds me of the movie The Thing, which is my favorite movie of all time. So that it's an easy back for me. It also has more than one villain, and one of them looks like The Thing, the other looks like Predator, another IP I love, and the third one looks like Screamers. And Screamers is a movie like, it's a bit of Terminator, but they're smaller machines that just are sentient and they reproduce themselves and they kill them. This one seems like a mixture of Terminator and Screamers. So 3 villains that are inspired on movies I love, a setting that I love. So if I'm going to go into it, I probably want to go in here. I don't think you really need to back the campaign for this game. The deluxe stuff around this game doesn't seem that cool. I would say that maybe the reason to get on with this campaign is because you can get a lot of expansions and extra stuff that I don't know if it will be available on retail. If you actually need it, I don't know. When I hear some reviews, people say that they do like the game a lot, but it's not a game that you want to play over and over because you're just getting to patterns on how you play it. And some people say it as a negative, others say it as not as a negative, but they do mention it, that this game, if you do play it a lot, you'll want expansions, you want to have a more varied experience. So the reason to get this campaign might be because of that, because you can have some expansions, and this one will allow you to trade the screening on the building that is in front of you, will also be available to change the map. So that may be cool for you. I was actually thinking of getting this one in the campaign just because of that. I really wanted to get one of the other scenarios that really remind me of The Shining, where it's not a space, it's not an Arctic science station, it's a super giant mansion in the middle of the snow, and it kind of reminds me of The Shining. And for me it looks cool, looks like just a mix of some horror movies I love. I'm not actually sure yet if I'm going to back this one or not, if it's really worth paying it now with extra taxes and shipping, or just waiting for the base game, since I'm probably not going to play it that much. But I still want it, so I wanted to talk about it. And that's it. That was the 7 games I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a little bit different. I do prefer doing a video for each game, but I'm not going to be able to do this this month and with everything I have planned for the channel until the end of the year. So I'll probably do this maybe a couple more times until the end of the year. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, play more games and stay awesome.